Everyone was asleep. No music, no lights, no warning. And somewhere between 4 and 4:20, 5 in the morning, 8, a quiet college house in Idaho turned into one of the most disturbing crime scenes in modern American history. This wasn't supposed to happen here. Moscow, Idaho, 8, is the kind of town people describe as peaceful without thinking twice. Small streets, friendly faces, a college that feels like the heartbeat of the place. Students walked around at night without fear. Doors stayed unlocked. Neighbors waved. Nothing about this town felt dangerous. That's why this case hit different. Inside a rental house just off campus lived 6 students. The house was known. Not famous, just known. People came and went. Parties happened. Friends slept over. It was loud sometimes, quiet other times. It felt alive. Kaylee Goncalves had a strong personality. Confident, outgoing. She stood out without trying. Madison Mogan was her best friend, always right there with her. They were close in that way people only get when they've shared everything. Zana Knodel was sharp and energetic. She didn't fade into the background. She had a presence. Her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was kind, athletic, well-liked. He wasn't officially moved in. He was just staying the night. Just one night, November 12th, 2022, felt normal. Football weekend energy was still in the air. Students were out, laughing, drinking, living their lives. Kaylee and Madison went downtown. They took pictures, smiled. He grabbed food from a late-night truck. Nothing looked strange. Nothing felt off. Zina and Ethan were at a frat party earlier. Loud music, crowded rooms, the usual college scene. Eventually, everyone made it back to the house. By around 2 in the morning, the house settled down. Lights went off. Phones went on chargers. Doors closed. By 4 in the morning, someone else was there. Police believe the person entered through the sliding glass door in the back. No forced entry. No shattered glass. Just a quiet step inside. The house didn't react. That's the part people struggle with. No screaming heard by neighbors. No calls to police. No chaos spilling outside. This wasn't a random explosion of violence. It was controlled. Fast. Personal. A knife was used. Not distant. Not loud. Up close. Kaylee and Madison were upstairs in the same room. The 2 closest friends ended their lives side by side. Zina and Ethan were on the 2nd floor. Ethan likely asleep. Zina likely awake. One of the surviving roommates later told police she heard noises. She thought it was just people moving around. Crying. A voice saying something like, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Then she opened her door. She saw a man dressed in black, mask covering his face, bushy eyebrows visible. He walked past her calmly and exited through the sliding door. She didn't scream. She didn't chase him. She froze. Shock does that to people. When morning came, things didn't make sense. Friends were called. Confusion filled the house. By the time police arrived, 4 students were dead. The town went quiet in a way it never had before. Parents pulled their kids out of school. 8. Students packed bags. People double-checked locks for the first time in their lives. Classes went online. Streets emptied. Fear moved in. 8. The scariest part wasn't just that 4 people were murdered. It was how easily it happened. Someone walked in. Someone walked out. And nobody knew who it was. At first. 8. Police had almost nothing to say publicly. No suspect. No weapon. No motive. That silence made people angry and scared at the same time. Social media exploded. TikTok, detectives popped up overnight. YouTube breakdowns, Reddit threads. Innocent people were accused. Lives were damaged. Every photo was analyzed. Every smile was questioned. Meanwhile, 8. Real investigators worked quietly. One detail kept coming back: a white car. Security cameras near the house picked up a white Hyundai Elantra driving strangely around the area that night. 8. It didn't just pass by once. It circled, returned, passed again. Then, after the estimated time of the murders, it sped away. Police asked the public for help identifying that car. 8. Across America, people started looking at their neighbors differently. At the same time, investigators found something inside the house that would change everything. A knife sheath. It didn't belong there. On it was a tiny amount of DNA. Not enough to instantly identify someone, but enough to start a long, careful process. They tracked phone data next. One phone stood out: late, night drives. Repeated trips near the house in the weeks before the murders. A pattern forming. Then, on the night of the killings, the phone went dark for hours. That silence spoke louder than any call. When the phone turned back on, it was far away. The phone belonged to Bryan Kohberger. He didn't fit what people expected. No violent record. 8. No obvious history. No loud red flags. He was a criminology PhD student at Washington State University, just minutes from Moscow. He studied crime. He studied criminal behavior. He studied how police think. That detail shook people. Investigators checked campus records. Kohberger owned a white Hyundai Elantra. 8. Surveillance footage showed a car matching his leaving Pullman, heading toward Moscow, then speeding back after 4 in the morning. Traffic stops added to the picture. He had been pulled over multiple times in the months before the murders. Calm, polite, controlled. Police didn't rush. They watched him. They followed him across the country. When he drove to Pennsylvania to visit family, they collected trash from his parents' home. Inside that trash was DNA, a match. The DNA linked directly to the knife sheath left at the crime scene. In late December, before dawn, police arrested Bryan Kohberger. No chase, no fight. He was quiet, calm. One of the first things he asked was whether anyone else had been arrested. That question echoed everywhere. As more details came out, the timeline became clearer and more disturbing. The car circling the house, the entry through the sliding door, the order of the attacks. Zina had defensive wounds. She fought. She may have seen him. Ethan likely never woke up. Kaylee's injuries were more severe, leading many to believe she may have been a primary target. Police never confirmed that. The motive remains unclear. No proven personal connection. No clear reason. Just violence. Kohberger pleaded not guilty. His defense argues there's no direct evidence placing him physically inside the house beyond the knife sheath. 8. Prosecutors say the evidence, when combined, paints a clear picture. The trial process has been slow. Motions, delays, legal battles, the kind that stretch for months, sometimes years. While lawyers argue, 4 families live with the same mourning on repeat. The house where it happened was eventually demolished. Some said it was necessary. 8. Others said it erased something important. But even with the house gone, the memory stayed. Students still walk past the empty lot. People still slow down. This case scared America because it didn't feel rare. It didn't feel distant. It felt like something that could happen anywhere people feel safe. A quiet night, unlocked doors, trust. 4 students went to sleep. They never woke up, and the silence that night still hasn't faded.